Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man Unlimited. In the last part we went through most of the quote-unquote Wily Fortress, and now we're on to Stage 4, which is our pretty box standard boss rush stage plus a little extra. So technically the last level was my least favorite level in the game. This one's a close second, because while they give you the usual little stock up here section at the start, there's a small section level before the boss rush that has instant kill spikes that you actively need to slide through, otherwise you will die if you go for some of the items down that way. But also this boss rush is a little unique. In a vein slightly similar to Mega Man X1, Mega Man and Base, and Mega Man 1, where the boss fights in the boss rush were sequential, the boss rush in this game, while it's still in the usual pods, has little micro levels before each of the bosses that have either mechanics from their levels or enemies from their levels that you need to navigate before you reach the boss. I believe there's also a checkpoint at the little pre-boss corridor in each one of the pods. Additionally, I think even if you didn't go out of your way to play through his level, Yoku Man is involved in this boss rush, meaning on its own, this level can actually be a bit of a marathon, because you're going through, essentially, a level about the length of the last one, honestly. If you die a lot of times in the boss rush itself, this can be kind of rough. With that said, like with all my other boss rushes, I am going to be speeding this up and playing music, including during the little pre-boss levels, so hit the music. That was about a minute and a half sped up. That was about 15 minutes worth of footage. That is a long boss rush's hit. It's one of the longest ones I've played in fanon or canon period, rivaling that of the Mega Man X2 one, for instance. And we still got a little bit of level to go, but thankfully they got this telebomb room here in case you need to farm for things. I would personally recommend farming for lives and weapon energy, but you don't need to, at least in case you got some weapon tanks. With that said, we're still not going to be done with this level for a little bit. This is easily one of my least favorite levels in the game, if only because so much of it's a marathon. If this was split into two stages, similarly to what other Mega Man games have done with this kind of concept, this could be a little bit easier to digest. Also, a limitation about the Yoku attack I've forgotten to mention thus far. The Yoku attack can damage enemies from any distance, yes, but if it hits a shielded enemy, you will flinch off of them. You don't take damage, but you do actively get knocked back, so be careful with that. Alright, let's start the final boss gauntlet. Base! I've outsmarted my own creator, Mega Man. Do you see how robots really are superior to humans? Why don't you wake up? What? Now it is time for your destruction! Alright, Base is a fight that I take a lot of dumb damage on, but he's really fun. Base is technically weakest to the Comet Dash if you dash directly into him, but I'm using either Tank Arsenal or Nail Shield for the lack of invincibility frames. Starting off, Base will either shoot his machine gun across the stage, dash, and then jump at the halfway point, or jump and shoot diagonally, land, and then dash, so make sure you're paying attention to that. About halfway through his health, he'll start bringing out Treble, who will fire a spread shot to the right, downwards, and to the left, and then land at the opposite side from where he started when he did that attack. This fight can be a lot to digest at once, but honestly, it's not too bad. My head hurts. What have I done? Why can't I defeat him?
You worthless pile of junk! How dare you attack your master? Take this!
Ugh. Base!
You see how powerful my new virus is, Megaman? It almost backfired on me. I guess it still needs some more work after all. You haven't been disrupted at all. But it doesn't matter. I have you now.
Alright, time for our usual Wily machine. We can only damage this one by hitting Wily's cockpit, and because of that, your first guess as to what his weakness is probably right, because it's one of the few that can actively reach him. It's Yo-Yo Cutter. Attack-wise, he's got this weird thing where he sets down that little elevator in the back and sends projectiles out at you in a 1-2-3 pattern, sort of like a Yellow Devil kind of thing. He can track onto you for a few moments, and when he does this, he'll shoot a couple of bolts of lightning at you that you need to be very careful of. Those really hurt. He's got a purple orb attack where the orbs will just track onto your position. You can get around this by sliding underneath the spikes in the front. I just forget to do that. And then he'll charge at you where you have to do the exact same, otherwise you take a lot of damage, if not instant kill, basically. And from there, the fight loops. The points where you can actively hit him without using Yo-Yo Cutter, I am not entirely sure about because I usually have enough weapon tanks, or I can just go restock on ammo before this fight that Yo-Yo Cutter will last. I think you're meant to do it by jumping at him with Rush Coil, maybe? Either way, with that, we're now on to the final phase of this little marathon. We got the Wily Walker, which to me always emanates, weirdly, one of the things from the DOS games. You can only hit a certain point of this walker when it's jumping, that little red core you may have seen there. With that said, you can only hit it while it's jumping, so it's weakest to Yo-Yo Cutter, Tank Arsenal if you can get enough shots in on it, your charge shot, or honestly the best way to do it if you're playing the game after a certain update, the water cannon from Whirlpool Man stage. Movement-wise, this thing's going to be moving and jumping from left to right all over the place, in such a way that you can run underneath it when it jumps, but you want to make sure you're also keeping moving so that the projectiles don't hit you, or using Rush Coil to jump over it. That's probably the thing that takes the most getting used to for this fight, because it's not often a Mega Man game, fan-in or otherwise, actively requires you to use Rush Coil during a boss fight. If anything, the only game that really has done that to an extent since is probably Mega Man 11. That's mostly because they mapped the Rush stuff to the triangle button, I think it was, natively? This fight can be rough just because touching him does so much damage, and if you don't have the energy tanks on the side ready to help, it's pretty easy to die here. In fact, when I did die, I had to go and farm weapon energy, because if you die in this fight, at any point, you are sent to right after the boss rush, and you have to fight Base and the Wily Machine again. This section is rough, and it's part of the reason why this stage is one of my least favorites, just because it's such a marathon with basically no real checkpoint for resetting. Although I should note, I said you can't really save yourself during any of these stages. You technically can. If you get a game over, I think you can actively save, and it will save the progress in the Wily Castle for you. I just never really go to the save menu when I'm in one of these sections because of what I've done in prior Mega Man games. Usually just resets you. What really helps with the water cannon be a good weakness for this fight as well is because it's such a consistent hitbox, you don't have to worry about accidentally missing, which it's very easy to do with this fight. And we're out of there. That marathon's rough, but thankfully from there it's all pretty easy from here, similarly to Mega Man 2. Once you get past that boss rush and all that, you're basically in the clear. Let's see what lies within the depths of this particular castle. And it's quite the large stage, I'll consider too, because we got a long way down. Take care to stock up your weapons, whatever you're running low on. Might be good to have them for stuff coming up, call it a hunch. 1 door, 2 doors, 3 doors, 4 doors, 5. Yeah, I gotta grab this life. And I might as well try to grab this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and hey, look, there's some actual stage sections where you can die. Just don't jump into them, and honestly, Nail Shield, very good for avoiding any of the enemies here. Up there's door 12, and the final door before us, unlucky number 13. Final boss of the game is the Zero prototype. Yeah, if you thought the weird alignments with the Mega Man 10 plot that actually happened were weird enough, this game is meant to be the branching point. With that said, this is a cutscene fight. The Zero prototype can dash, but anything you send at him, he can just bounce right off. You were meant to just take damage and lose here. I'm actually kind of just trying to survive here to show off his moveset of jumping and dashing. Listen to this really good version of the Mega Man X5 boss theme. But the cool thing is, you can actively play as this after beating the game on normal or instant death mode. And it's a really cool mode. I'll talk more about that when we get to the credits, because I think I'm at the point now where I'm just like, alright, let's take whatever hits we can. I remember hearing rumors for a good while that there was some way to outlast this fight, but I don't think that's true. No matter what you do lose this. I know there's some people that don't like this kind of fight, especially in a platformer. If anything, it should just be a cutscene. But I kind of like it just because it kind of lines up with what we see of Zero in that one cutscene in X4 on his own storyline. Like, this is the kind of monster he would be, especially against an earlier tier robot. There's a reason the game's title screen is the Mega Buster on its own. So now we have a self-destruct sequence, and it might not look like it initially, but I do believe this is fully timed. The closer you get to the castle exploding, the more frequent the explosions. With that said, because we lost our Mega Buster, we have no weapons. This is just an avoidance and platforming game. They do place some life energy around so you can take some hits, so you're not just doomed to that one hit point wonder we were for a moment there. But don't let this timer scare you. As long as you don't mess up a jump too much, like potentially falling a couple times here, you're probably gonna be fine. I've never actually died to the timer. And at this point, I think we're already in the clear. It's not even a very long section. I can't go on. I hope you've managed to escape in time, Mega Man. I failed. I was weak. That virus. I fear the time will come when I won't be able to help you defend mankind. With only you being immune to the virus, will you be on your own? So, you think I no longer have a purpose, huh? Well then, I'll make sure he lives. I'll have my revenge. Oh,
I've completed the repairs. Welcome back, Megaman. How did I survive? Someone brought you back. I don't know who it was, but we should be grateful, right? The world needs you, Megaman.
And so, Megaman foiled Dr. Wily's plans, and peace was restored, for now. Dr. Wily, however, disappeared along with the virus he created. Who was that mysterious robot? What power? This time, Megaman knew that he would have to fight again. But he also knew that he would never give up, for the sake of the world. We make peace now, okay?
Ow, that hurts. Let go, you idiot. The war is over. It's so beautiful. Whee! I'm on top of the world. Glue is the best adhesive for kites, I tell you. Ah. Now that's a good use for explosives, yeah! Hey look, a rainbow! Isn't it beautiful?
Of course.
Show us another trick, Mr. Yo-Yo Man.
Alright, watch this.
Yay! Awesome!
Now just try and catch me. No sound barrier to break here, haha! Arrgh! That's a tough one. And this is also one of the only Mega Man projects, fan or otherwise, that actually lists the name of every other enemy. The only other one I can think of that did this, I think, was Dr. Wily's Revenge on the Game Boy, I think? Either way, that's Mega Man Unlimited. It's a really good fan game, but it's definitely one that comes with an asterisk on the recommendation. And that asterisk is if you're used to Mega Man games. If you're not used to Mega Man games, I think there's plenty of fan games that are better for introducing you to playing them. I'd say I'd recommend Rock and Roll and Super Fighting Robot for that a lot overall. But if you're not used to it, this is going to be a very frustrating game. The stages are very long. The weapons, while they're really good, they can take some getting used to. And the checkpoints, even with the easy mode in there to help mitigate some problems, is going to be really hard to get into, I find. With that said, I love what they did here. I think actually making a fan game out of that major theory for branching the classic and X portions of the timeline is really cool, and I think they do a good job of it overall. And something I didn't even mention, the little like weird wire graphic during the one cutscene, I think it's after the 4th Robot Master, that was a direct reference to the virus stages from Mega Man X5. There's actually quite a few X5 references in here if you look carefully enough. And it makes me really curious what Mega Man Unlimited 2, current working title, is gonna be like. If they're gonna try to follow up with this at all story-wise, or if it's just gonna be like, alright, it's this developer's second Mega Man fan game, so it's just a sequel to it in that regard. I like all the Robot Master designs we've seen thus far, and I really like the stages we've seen so far in terms of like tile sets and all that. We just have to actively have the game come out, and I know he hasn't been working on it immediately since the release of this. I don't think he started working on Unlimited 2 until like 3+ years after this one's release, but I'm excited to see it all the same. If you want to play the game, there has been a download link in every video description and in the playlist itself. I would really recommend it. Oh, also, for beating the game on either normal or instant death mode, you actually unlock a new gameplay mode as of I think version 1.2 onwards, where you actively are able to play as the Zero prototype. He's got a completely unique moveset, and you actively get new abilities as you go through, including like more sabers, I think a better double jump and all that. It's one of those modes though where your attacks actively use your HP, but your main attack saps HP from enemies. It's really neat. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.
I've got it! I understand the data now. This is amazing. What endless potential.